What's happening? What up? What it do? That's the show. But everybody in my city say, what up, doe? What up? What up, doe? Copyright disclaimer. Under Section 107 of the Copyright Act, 1976, allowance is made for the fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research, y'all. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statutes that might otherwise be infringing. Non-profit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use, y'all. Yeah, no. We gonna get right into it, y'all. Oh, actually, let me shout out to the replay gang. Let yours truly and the biggest I know, you know, a comment. We can agree. We whatever. All opinions matter. All right, y'all. We're gonna get right into it. So I just. Oh wait, actually, Where do I begin? Let's just start here. So everything. Just let me know if I missed anything. Everybody hit the thumbs up button for yours truly and the biggest M. I know, like, comment, share the live in my TikTok voice, y'all. Okay, so on the 9th, allegedly still, all this shit happened on the 9th, y'all. And again, remember, there's only 24 hours in a day. Okay, so Jarvis was supposed to go to jail, but he went to the courthouse and asked them for extended time. Okay. So he went to the courthouse. Jarvis went to AutoZone. Jarvis went to and from Ypsilanti. They worked on the Jaguar. The mechanic came and looked at the foreign Jaguar. The truck ran out of gas. They had to push the truck to the gas pump. Okay. Oh, they looked at his sister Tawana Butt's car, and she testified they were working on other cars as well. He went to the Park Crest Motel, left the Park Crest Motel. Damn. Yeah, I think that's about it. That's a lot of shit going on the night, y'all. Let me know if I missed anything, y'all. But I want to get into this person's testimony real quick for a second.
Started building yet? There's something since I had various.
You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you, Judge. Good afternoon. Could you please state your name for the record?
Shannon Jones.
And how are you employed?
I'm a sergeant with the City of Detroit Police Department.
And are you assigned to a special unit or division?
Yes.
And what is that?
I'm assigned to homicide, missing persons unit.
And how long have you been employed in that role?
I've been at missing persons since 2013.
And before that, where were you at?
Patrol.
Okay, and how long were you there?
I've been on the department for
Okay.
so throughout the prior years to missing persons, I had various assignments.
And what is your role in this case?
I'm the officer in charge.
What does it mean to be an officer in charge?
So I'm in charge of reviewing all the evidence and spearheading the investigations, looking into all the facts and possible suspects and information that's brought to the case and to compile it together.
Okay. And what would be some common duties that you would do in partaking in those roles?
When it comes to missing persons, specifically those type of cases?
Yes.
So a missing person case, when someone's reported missing, we always go out to the home, search the home, talk to family, and try to get a good timeline of when that person was last seen, their common habits, where they are supposed to be, has any patterns changed, are they not going to school and not going to work? If the investigation leads us to believe that that person may be in danger or that there's something more to just not coming home, then we start pulling different video and try to look into cell phone data or friends or associates of that specific missing.
Whoa.
What's that?
I just built a budgeting app in Base 44.
Guys.
And in particular, have you investigated what would be known as a no body case before?
Yes.
Okay, and what does it mean to be a no body case?
That would be a missing person, suspicious possible things connected to her being gone. Number one, she's never been missing before. There's been no updates on any of her social media, which is very uncommon for a young child or juvenile. They're addicted to those. There had been a last known contact that she had possibly met somebody, is what we were informed, that there was a text message for her to be picked up, and that would have been the same day that she went missing.
So when you first officially received this case, tell me, what is it that you do right off the bat?
So this case was a little different because we kind of had to go back. We were already a month behind. She went missing January 9th, and now it's February 12th. We start kind of looking into what has already been done and then what steps I would normally take moving forward.
Okay. So what kind of steps do you take moving forward?
So once I reviewed the case, and it was determined that the last person that had contact with Ziyah was Jarvis Buds, I then started to look into his phone records, his activity, places that he had been. On the 12th, we had determined there was already an analyst that had looked at different records and given us a location out in Ypsilanti. So I coordinated a search for the very next day on February.
Let's pause for a second. And I'm looking at my transcripts. Shannon Jones, I have a question. Are you talking about February 12th, 2024? 5 days after he turned himself in? Because I know the fuck you are not. What? I gotta let y'all know something. I gotta remind y'all. Remember, Ziyah was reported a runaway, allegedly. Was reported a runaway to DPS, Detroit Public Schools. She was reported a runaway on the 9th. Okay? All right. I'm so confused about some shit, y'all. Jarvis was not charged or arrested or named a suspect until September 27, 2024. That would be 9 months or 8, I guess, whatever, 1 to 9, 8 months went by. And then I'm confused too, because you said that y'all conducted searches the 12th going into the 13th of February. How did y'all get all the data and pings and shit that quick? Like, anybody help me out? Maybe I'm not following this shit right, but let's just keep listening and pay attention to the dates, okay? Pay attention to her verbiage and the dates.
'13. We went out to Ypsilanti. We conducted the search. It's a large area, and it wasn't pinpointed down to a.
So you're telling me, so the day you received the case, the day you said it, Shannon Jones, the day you received the case was the 12th. And you guys just had all this fucking information. You just had all this fucking. I'm so lost. What? How did you get, like, access to the phone and records and all that shit that quick? As soon, the day the DPS gives you the case, you said it. You said it. I just listened and I'm right along with the the transcripts. What are you talking about? Let's keep listening.
Specific house. There was a lot of wooded area over there. We had multiple teams out there. There was probably over 60 people at one point. We then started going into different businesses to look for different video that we may be able to recover close to the intersection that we believed would be a good starting point in that search area.
And did you recover, or were you able to recover anything or find anything from the Ypsilanti area?
We did find some video that was eventually pulled from a gas station.
I used to say, if I hear AI one more time, I'm going to lose it. But Monday.com is super easy.
And what was, I guess, the condition of that video?
So the video is from a gas station. It shows the intersection, I believe it's Michigan and Carpenter, which is actually, I think that is like a Springfield township. It's kind of like a little small city just outside of Ypsilanti. At that point, we didn't know exactly what we're looking for, so we just kind of pulled like the window that we knew the devices were out there, specifically Jarvis Butt's device that was out there. So we kind of just pull all of that video before we lose it, and then.
Right, we're gonna take a pause. I remember I said pay attention to verbiage. You notice how she said Jarvis Butt's device. Because again, y'all, just because his device pinged, we don't know who was carrying it, This shit is crazy work, y'all. Never in my life. This one's gonna be talked about for a while. Like, shit. Kind of like OJ shit. That motherfucker was talked about. I watch that shit every year, once a year, shit. It's crazy. This is insane. I've never in my life. I cannot believe this shit. Like, I can't believe, like, this shit is just so real. Like, what? Like, let's keep listening for a minute.
And as we gather more information, we can kind of go back and look at the video to see if there's something now that we can focus in on what we should look for.
Okay. Now that brings up a good point. You said you're a month behind on this investigation.
Yes.
So that, fair to say, being a month behind would cause you to potentially lose critical pieces of evidence.
Yes.
Okay. And some of those pieces of evidence, fair to say, could be videos.
Correct.
Okay. Why would it be that you would be losing those videos?
So I always remember asking, like, what, like, these, I thought these were stupid questions, but they're really not. Let me, oh, dang, you threw me off for a minute. I was like, who, what up, though? Salute to a humble queen. Salute, salute, salute. Dang, you threw me off for a minute. Thanks for pulling up on yours truly, you know? Oh, shit. I forgot my train of thought, y'all. Sorry, y'all. ADHD. Let's keep listening.
So most video systems, and every business is different. You got.
Oh, I remember. So, I used to remember thinking, like, man, these are stupid questions. These are stupid questions. But they just covered their ass. Because remember how everyone was asking about, like, how is there no footage? How is there no wooty, 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 wata, wata, wata? You know what I'm saying? You know how, like, just pay attention. There's no footage. There's nobody knows nothing. Nobody recalls, right? No, it's just let's just keep listening for a second too. Let me pull these transcripts up too. Let's go. Salute to everybody. Thanks for pulling up.
Green light, you have businesses and people that have their own residential cameras or property cameras, and it'll vary. Some of them start overwriting in 48 hours, some of them is a week, some may last up to a month. It just depends on how large their system is and how much data it can hold.
And is that a struggle that you encountered in this case?
Yes.
Okay. And where is it that you encountered that?
So there's several cameras and videos throughout the entire route of travel that later in the investigation we were able to identify. But as we identified those locations and went to see if video was still able to be there, it had already been overwritten or was not available.
Now, I want to take you back. You did the search in Ypsilanti. Did you do any other searches kind of immediately at that time?
Yes.
Tell me about one of them. We're going to go through them, but start with one of them.
Okay. So after we didn't find anything in Ypsilanti, I kind of got to go backwards a little bit and go back to who we had known was the last contact with her, which was Mr. Butts. So we did a search warrant for his home. Later, I believe it was like later that night, 13th into the 14th, we had kind of worked all the way through. We did a search warrant to obtain his cell phone so we could try to do an extraction.
My grandma had a really unusual name, Livia, and I was really curious about where it came from. So
we contacted the jail to look through his property. There was no cell phone in the property. We then ordered the jail calls to see if there was any conversations, anybody that he had talked to. We knew that he had turned himself in on February 7th. As we started to listen to those jail calls,
Hold on a minute. But the first time Jarvis Butts was interviewed was May 31st. What? What? So it looks like she's pretty much saying as soon as they got the case, they jumped on it. But it's giving, no, the fuck you didn't. And I'm about to pull up the testimony of the 3 people that had to do the DNA and the dates. Pay attention to the dates on the evidence that's found. The paperwork that they put on the screen, pay attention to the dates. She said it, not me.
there was a call where he had asked his shop partner, Cordell Wright, to retrieve a phone out of a vehicle. We then went and picked up Mr. Wright and brought him down to our headquarters to talk to him about the cell phone. He did confirm and he acknowledged the phone call. He said that vehicle came up.
And then I want to remind y'all, let me pull it up actually. Let me pull it up. Let me pull the paperwork up. No, hold on a minute. Boop. Let me pull this shit up real quick. Do 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 do. Yeah. Do do do. All right, here we go. Let me share this with y'all. All right, here we go. Let me make it bigger. Y'all can still hear me? Okay. Hold on a minute. Jarvis Butts didn't he was arrested and warrant not till September. So I'm so confused. How did Jarvis Butts turn himself in on the 7th? You received the case from the school on the 12th. And then the same day on the 12th, you interview him, you just said it out your mouth, and you go conduct all these searches and do your thing. What? But let's keep listening. There's the date. Again, Jarvis was not named a suspect or charged until September, which would be 8 months later after our girl Ziyah Harris went missing. Remember, he was in jail doing time for a pew-pew. Okay? So I wonder how long... Never mind. Let's just listen to her testimony. Shannon Jones.
There was a Tahoe, Tashi's vehicle, Tashiana, and that he had looked in the back.
And everybody, why does she call her Tashi? Like she's her friend. And pay attention, why do you keep looking at the judge? Like, you keep looking at her like, I don't know. Pay attention, y'all. Pay attention. I don't know.
Back seat and tried to find where the phone was that Mr. Butts kind of described where he had hid it in this vehicle. He said that he was unable to locate it. So at that point, we then did a workup on Tashiana to find out where she lived, what type of vehicle she had. It matched the description that he kind of described. We did a search warrant for her home in an attempt to locate the cellular device and any other possible evidence that may help us and direct us to where Ziyah is.
Okay, so I'm gonna backtrack a little bit. You started off with you went to do a search warrant at Mr. Butts' home.
Yes.
And would that be the one on Wilshire?
Yes.
Okay. And did you find anything at his house?
Yes.
And what is it that you found?
So from his home, we had recovered, there were some electronic devices. We recovered some phones, maybe a tablet, and we recovered his ID, wallet, and a firearm that was with his wallet. I believe there was 2 actual firearms, and then there was a long gun, a rifle that was in the closet.
And did that search warrant include a vehicle?
Yes.
And what kind of vehicle did it include?
It included all vehicles that we believe may be associated. At that time, we impounded a Cadillac Escalade.
Now, you said at that point you knew that Mr. Butts had turned himself in to, is it the Wayne County Jail?
Yes,
And is that was back on February 7th of 2024?
correct.
And at that time, did you know how long he was serving a sentence for?
We had got information that he was possibly going to be there till December.
Okay.
And then here's one for y'all. How did Jarvis look up how a homemade, in December of 2024 if he was in jail? I'm confused as fuck, y'all. How? Or maybe maybe the year's wrong. I don't know. But her timeline is all jacked up.
And that would be completely unrelated to, that sentence is completely unrelated to your investigation?
Yes,
Okay. And then you said that you had pulled some jail calls, and that's what led you to Cordell Wright.
correct.
And that that jail call that you had listened to, that was previously admitted as People's Exhibit 1?
Yes,
Okay. And that led you to Tashiana Davis.
correct.
And then you subsequently executed a search warrant at her house.
Correct.
And is that on Neff Street?
Yes,
Okay. And she had a vehicle there that matched the description that Cordell Wright had given you.
yes,
Okay, and would that have been a Chevy Suburban?
yes,
Okay. And then you subsequently searched that vehicle.
yes.
And what is it that you found in that vehicle?
I found in that vehicle a iPhone 11, and it was in the exact area that Mr. Butts had described to his shop partner Cordell, where it would be located.
Okay. And that phone, okay, so ultimately, after you do that, what's the next step that you took?
Well, we had to identify that was the actual correct phone. It was in the right place, but we still needed to get it to our headquarters and download it. We had the phone there. We made a call to 911 from that phone in order to see what the identification number was to try to verify, so we weren't just taking random phones. It did come back to Jarvis Butts' phone number that we were looking for. The phone was then placed on evidence and taken to our base.
And what's the next thing that you did after that?
So after that, the phone now is getting processed under the search warrant.
Okay.
It is given to, was given to Detective Markle, where she processed that. We then continued, we had searched the residence on Wilshire, we had searched Neff, we also executed a search warrant at 9000 Connor.
And what's 9000 Connor?
9000 Connor is the location that was identified that Jarvis Butts worked at with his shop partner.
Okay. And did you find anything or anything at 9000 Connor?
We did take some things as evidence. There was a lot of activity going on, so I had multiple different units from within our homicide squad assisting me with different search warrants that we were executing. I believe it was the Northeast squad actually executed the Connor location search warrant. They were advised of some items to look for, obviously children's clothing. We had been given a description of a Rugrats jacket with a fur hood. We were given the clothing description. At that time, we were told that the shoes were possibly blue and white Nike shoes that we had been looking. in our homicide squad assisting me with different search warrants that we were executing. I believe it was the Northeast squad actually executed the Connor location search warrant. They were advised of some items to look for, obviously children's clothing. We had been given a description of a Rugrats jacket with a fur hood. We were given the clothing description. At that time, we were told that the shoes were possibly blue and white Nike shoes.
I have a question. Why are you going off of what you were told? Y'all are still going with she got off the bus. And look at the shoes she's wearing when she's walking. And they're saying that's the story they're rolling with. I don't believe it. You know what I'm saying? But what do you mean, Shannon? Jones?
That we had been looking for. There was an area in the shop, as I reviewed the evidence, photos where there's like children's coloring books and maybe things that when the children are there that they're using.
Were any interviews besides the one with Cordell Wright taking place at this time?
So at that time I had interviewed, when we went to Wilshire, we had interviewed the woman that he lives with. I don't know if that's.
So, my question, if you did all this like that, how come he wasn't arrested until September? I'm so confused, Shannon Jones. You said it.
Fiance or girlfriend, but that was Miss Angel. We interviewed her there. Tashiana was in the hospital when we had executed the search warrant at her house. I had had a conversation with her on the phone while we were there. Her children were there. I scheduled an interview for her later. I believe it might have been like the next day or two later that she came down to headquarters. We had interviewed Cordell at that time. And now we're just kind of going through everything that we had at that moment to try to take the next steps.
Okay. When about is Mr. Butts interviewed for the first time?
So he was interviewed, we got it, looked at it on the 12th, the 13th, we executed all the search warrants. On the 14th, Mr. Butts, I believe it was the 14th, he was brought down to headquarters, or the 15th. I would have to look.
Okay, and that's okay. So it'd be just a couple days after you get the case.
Yes.
Okay. Now, based on Mr. Butt's first interview, which your Detective Mays here testify about, did you do anything based off of that interview?
So based on that interview, we had obtained.
She messed up. She fucked her dates up, but she way messed up because, man, this is crazy. I wonder who's really helping who. This is crazy. This is crazy work, y'all. Woo!
The text now, which was turned over to us from DPS, which was the initial, I believe it was like maybe 1 week's worth of text now, so like the very end of December into the 1st of January. So during that interview was when it was asked by Detective Mays and Detective Johnson regarding the text message about meeting to be picked up.
Okay. Now, if you know, can you estimate about how many search warrants did you execute?
Probably over 20. And throughout the entire, it has to be over 20.
And,
So, it took you 9 or 8 months to do 20 searches, and nobody knows nothing. Nobody wrote anything down. There's no interviews done. Huh. What? Okay. Okay, Shannon Jones.
What kind of searches were done in this case in general?
So we searched, as far as like land searches,
All kinds.
all kinds. Well, we searched Ypsilanti, as we did our workup, and we're looking at different locations that Mr. Butts had been to. We identified an area out in Clinton Township that he had gone out to back and forth before. And that was an area that Shannon Harris, his child's mother, had lived at. So this was kind of like a route out there, and we located, there was like a big retention pond out there. So that was another place that we had dive teams come out. We had the helicopter, the cadaver dogs, and we searched out in Clinton Township. As we start breaking down the phone mapping a little bit more on Mr. Butt's phone, it kind of led us to 7 Mile and Berg.
And what's out in 7 Mile and Berg?
So 7 Mile and Berg, there is a vacant parking lot on the southwest corner. It used to be a golf course. So the entire south side of 7 Mile, from Berg and then heading back east, used to be a golf course, which is now shut down. And then on the other side of Berg, there's a parking lot where it has like a vacant building, which used to be the clubhouse for the golf club. And then right behind that parking lot is the Rouge River.
And when's the first time that you get out to 7 Mile and Berg?
We went out once. It was probably maybe a couple weeks later that we went out there. We went out there once, and I remember it had snowed. So when we went out there,
Girl, she danced for a minute with it, y'all. Man, get the fuck out of here. Couple weeks. I wonder how long is a couple weeks. Because remember, Tina Ripley noticed, she said, she made it a point to say Jarvis was locked up for a charge already, right? There's a reason. Shannon Jones.
it wasn't as easy to search. We're kind of looking if somebody was just placed out there or if something was easily identifiable, but because of the snow, we knew that we were going to have to come back again once that melted because it'd be easier to see underneath.
Okay. And so do you go out there again?
Yeah, we've been out there multiple times. I've probably been out there 7, 8 times, all with various dive teams. We started.
Man.
We searched the complete river from 8 Mile all the way down past 96 on foot with cadaver dogs, in boats, in the water. There's several log jams. We had state police actually had their helicopter fly the entire route so we could GPS all the log jams. We had to coordinate with specialized teams to come in to help cut these log jams apart, which go throughout the river. And then throughout the season, obviously we had some rain, so the water goes up and down, which now brings the debris onto the land. So you have to actually search the land a couple hundred feet in some places that the water has pulled debris. We searched the homes, as I said, searched the vehicles.
All right. So when you're out there at 7 Mile and Berg, do you have an idea of what you're looking for?
Yes.
Okay. And what was the idea of what you're looking for?
So initially when we were out there, again, we had the clothing description. We had the picture of her that she had sent that night. Or that day that she was missing on the 9th. So we were looking for the black hoodie. We were looking for, again, initially we were told blue and white gym shoes.
Now, is there a time where that changes?
Yes.
Okay, and what is it that makes that change?
So as we go out to areas and search, when we leave, a lot of times large community groups may go out there, right? And they saw that we were at Sevenenberg, and I know people come out there to help. There was a group that had been out there and they were recording, and they saw a pair of Nike shoes. Which were the red and black. We were alerted of those on our initial search. It's documented in our river search report. But because we weren't focused on the red and black and we were looking for blue and white Nike shoes, we left them there, but we did GPS the coordinates.
Ask y'all this. Do you remember the Wyatt dude who took the stand that said that he found the clothes and he found the shoes were balled up in the clothes, but the pictures were spread out, and he was like, yeah, I did that to take pictures. What? Man, this is crazy.
Stop you right there. That would have been Border Patrol agent Wyatt Barnes.
Yes.
Okay, you heard his testimony.
Yes.
All right, continue.
Yeah. So on our initial search, we knew they were out there. The pink hoodie was identified, but we didn't collect them because, again, we didn't have anything about a pink hoodie or a pink onesie, and the shoes weren't matching. And there's a lot of clothing out there. There's a lot of shoes out there. There's people's clothes. There's all type of debris. So I can't collect every single piece of clothing and article that we find. Later, I get the information that as the search team is out there, they had called 911 because they saw these shoes. And they posted a picture of these shoes somewhere or sent it to Ziyah's brother. Ziyah's brother then reached out to me and he sent me a picture of Ziyah wearing the black and white Nike shoes.
Okay.
Once I saw she had the exact same shoes on that are depicted, that were described out there, I knew immediately where to go. I gathered a couple members of my team and we immediately went back out to where the shoes were GPS located and recovered the shoes. As we were there, that's when we found the black hoodie and then the pink jumpsuit that had been.
When did we start pinging our evidence for court? What? But okay, Shannon Jones, you said it, not me.
Laid out by Agent Wyatt.
Okay. Now, as it relates to those red and black Nike shoes, you had a photo that they were associated with Ziyah in some way. Did you ever end up asking Annette to see if those shoes were still in Ziyah's possessions?
Yes.
Okay. And did you ever end up recovering those pairs from Annette?
No.
Tortoise wins, an upset for the ages.
So I would ask the board, what if our next app?
So, after you recover the pink jumpsuit, the black hoodie, the shoes, what do you do with them?
Those are all, well, the evidence techs collect them. They're placed on evidence. Those items were wet, so I had to wait, obviously, for them to dry. Once they're ready to be processed and they're finished drying, then I create a lab report. And items are selected and turned over to the state police lab for processing to look for any type of DNA evidence.
Okay, so once those are placed on evidence by the lab tech, you're the one who then submits them to Michigan State Police?
Yes.
Okay.
There may be some of the lab reports where I had gathered the evidence and one of my partners had gone down and physically took the items to the lab, which is all in the same building.
Okay. Now, I believe you said at least one time when you were out at 7 Mile and Bury that it had been snowing. Were you at all, I guess, familiar with kind of the weather back, let's start with back in January 9th?
Yeah, so I searched it. There's a weather site where you can search the dates in the cities and what the weather was like. On the 9th into the 10th, it had rained here. If you remember, we had a very mild winter. In 2024, the January months, we had a lot of rain that month, which would have caused